As you have already seen, airline marketing is unique. Marketing to customers needs to be different, and the same rules from Coke and Starbucks and Samsung cannot be applied to airlines. I detail this in my book Soar. It is a model that I've described as the 6X model. Right here. The 6X model has 6 key factors which highlight how exactly airline marketing is different. The first of those factors is brand expectations. Airlines need to set the brand promise or the brand expectations differently. Airlines need to promise something that they can deliver. Very often, you will see a billboard that has a beautiful flight attendant pulling a blanket over a sleeping passenger. But the reality for a large majority of customers is that they're stuck in 64D trying to work on their laptop with dinosaur hands. That's a classic case of overpromising and under-delivering. And I'm not saying that everyone should fly business class or that every airline should only advertise their economy class. But airlines need to be completely transparent about what they're promising. A good airline brand very often boils down to just setting the right expectations. The second factor is that of brand experience, right here. Brand experience is something that makes airlines extremely unique. After all, you might be on a plane from 2 hours to 24 hours. So if something goes wrong, for example, customer service recovery can be done on board the flight. Brand experience is very, very important. Let's say the in-flight entertainment system is not working. Some airlines issue vouchers. Singapore Airlines apologizes by giving bags of TWG tea when passengers land in Singapore if their in-flight entertainment system is not working. Simple things that airlines can do to create a good holistic brand experience. It's not just about when things go wrong, but it's about delivering on the good experience as well. The third factor is brand expression. Brand expression is the two-way communication between the airline and its customers, as well as the communication between the airline and its employees. Both of these show how well the airline communicates with the customers, and not just to the customers and employees, but also listens to them and hears them back. For example, can a passenger tweet to you and will you reply within, let's say, a few minutes on an issue related to the day of flying? Can an employee openly post in a forum and expect the CEO to reply? That's a form of brand expression. 2 good examples come to mind. One is Tiger Airways in Singapore, which is no longer a functioning brand. But in the early days, Tiger Airways had a lot of issues with customer complaints due to multiple delays they were having. Unfortunately, there was no feedback button on their website. They made it extremely hard to give feedback, so passengers were left frustrated. Brand expression would get a really low rating there. Compare that to someone like Singapore Airlines or Southwest Airlines or Air New Zealand, where people are constantly speaking and listening to the customers and there's a full feedback loop. Even if the customer is upset, they get heard. And because they get heard, they are happy. Another good example of internal communication is British Airways. The CEO, Alex Cruz, personally replies to every single email, especially if it's from a staff. He also replies and is active on the internal chat system that British Airways uses, and employees will often see themselves asking a question not directed to the CEO, but Alex will step in and reply. That's a great example of healthy brand expression. The fourth factor is brand externalities. Now this is what makes airlines so unique. As we discussed earlier, everything from a weather to a strike, there's so many things outside the airline's control. For example, if you're sitting at the airport and there's snow outside, it's snowing heavily, and another plane takes off while your flight is cancelled, guess what? The passenger is not going to say, hey, you know what, it's okay. But he's going to be angry. He's going to be saying, why is it that another plane is taking off while mine is not? What's wrong? At the same time, if you're sitting in a Starbucks and it's snowing outside, your coffee probably just tastes as nice, if not nicer. So airlines need to take care when things beyond their control go wrong and they cannot say, not my job. That's brand externalities. The next factor is brand execution. Now, brand execution comes down to how well the airline implements their strategy. This is extremely important in low-cost airlines world, where you have to ensure on-time arrival and departure and quick turnaround times, and you want to implement the policies of carry-on bag restrictions very well. How well is the airline in execution? Very often, low-cost airlines do not have flatbeds to talk home about, but airlines like Indigo in India have built a brand on being on time, simply by executing well. And finally, the last factor of the 6X model is X factor. This is something that other airlines cannot duplicate. It's so unique, something like the Singapore girl at Singapore Airlines, or Richard Branson at Virgin Atlantic, or the Christmas miracle at WestJet. Airlines and competition can only hope that they create something similar. Safety videos is something that Air New Zealand owns. Everyone else that does safety videos that are funky are often similar to Air New Zealand's. So what is the category that you can own that no one else can duplicate? Together, the 6X model describes in detail what makes airline marketing different. And it's important you study the attached document that I've included in the course. Meanwhile, grab your copy of Soar as well from Amazon or simplysoar.com, that's simply with an I, as it's going to be a fantastic companion for this course.